My wife recently came to me and said she thinks she is asexual. We had a very brief discussion about it as she shut the conversation down and didn't want to talk about it. I have tried to have the conversation, but each time it goes nowhere. I don't know what to do with this. We have been together for 20 years, have 2 wonderful kids. Since she announced this, I cannot have sex with her. The feeling she has no need or want really leaves me in a terrible place. I am miserable and don't want to be like this for another 20 years. So how should I go about this? So bless you. That's a very challenging excuse that your wife came to you with. So it's amazing to me the excuses we will come up with and the stories we will create as women. And again, I want to say I am teaching and answering these questions in a broad sense of the principles and concepts that I teach on the channel. I have not talked to this man. I have not talked to his wife. So I'm going to answer this in the framework that I use, that this is an excuse. This is an excuse. So going with the theme today, didn't have what's the saying they have these days of like, this wasn't in my bingo card for my live shows to talk about a BJ or a hand job so many times in an episode. However, I'm going to tie that into this question as well, that if your wife truly were saying, let's say she truly is asexual and is completely disinterested in sex, then you should be able to compromise with her of, okay, if your value is to stay married for your kids' sake or to stay true to your faith and your religion, and you're trying to work to find a solution, I would think a reasonable compromise in this, if you are asexual and don't want to have intercourse any longer, then is it reasonable that you do other acts so that I can have that experience in our marriage? Because I'm not asexual. And it would be reasonable to have that conversation and ask if she's willing to compromise and be willing to give you a BJ or a hand job regularly in your sex life if she's not going to have sex any longer. What you will likely find is she's going to say no, because she isn't really asexual. It's another excuse to stop having sex, and she doesn't want to have sex with you. If she's not willing to compromise in that regard, then you can know it's an excuse to stop having sex. That there's no validity in what she's telling you and being asexual. It's an excuse and a way to shut it down, and something that you can't question and have to just accept. So this leads to another question of, why does a woman stop having sex after 20 years? With, from the way the man posed the question, a seemingly nice, reasonable man, why does she stop having sex after 20 years and 2 wonderful kids? Instead of saying, I don't want to have sex, I've lost interest, she's pulled an excuse out, asexual being the excuse, which is like other excuses we use as women, such as hormones or menopause or pain during sex or trauma or dryness, that we find a way to have an excuse in a story to stop having sex. But why after 20 years? Why after 20 years? And in thinking on this, is we feel entitled. As women, we feel entitled to stop having sex after 20 years because we feel we have put in our time. We have paid our dues, put in our time, and we shouldn't have to do it anymore. And what that means is if a woman feels that way and feels entitled after 20 years to stop having sex because we've put in our time, means we've had sex out of total obligation and a chore. We've done it as an obligatory chore, And it's another way we can check out of the marriage. We no longer want to carry the burden and responsibility of sex with our husbands. We feel we have nothing left to give. And it's almost like we're retiring. After 20 years, and when a woman uses, say, an excuse like asexual or an excuse like menopause, we feel entitled, and it's like retiring. I've put in my 20 years and I'm retiring now. It's like when someone works a job just for the sake of a paycheck and they don't like what they do and they're just biding their time until retirement. Is very much what women do with sex in a marriage. That after a certain number of years, then we can stop having it, which is very sad and very ridiculous that we feel entitled that should be okay, that there's a time we can just stop. I would imagine as a woman and having faced these issues in myself, I can imagine us as women kind of like biding our time until menopause, because we know we can use that as the excuse to stop having sex and our husbands can't question it. And we see that into the future of, oh, at this time, I'll be able to stop. This woman just happened to use I'm sorry, I'm asexual. And it's kind of like, what if your husband came to you and he says, okay, you're asexual. Well, I'm going to be an a-hole. I'm coming out as an a-hole. I'm tired of being nice. Don't want to do thoughtful things for you anymore. And I'm just going to be an a-hole now. Essentially the same thing. I'm going to be asexual now. It's just an excuse to bow out and stop having sex. But yet a good man will still keep doing all the things he feels he needs to do to be a good husband or a good dad or a good provider. He's not going to come to you and say, I'm done working. I know we're not ready for retirement yet, but just not interested in it anymore. Or, I'm just not interested in cutting the grass and doing the yard work anymore. I'm done. That's what we do as women with these excuses and why we would stop having sex after 20 years of marriage. So to the women listening, so you don't do this to yourself and you don't do this to your husband. It's really important that we work on our selfishness and entitlement and to be able to consider what's important to our husbands. And I had said something before about we get to a point where we feel we have nothing left to give. And that's because we don't do anything to recharge ourselves and fill our cup. So we run on empty and feel we have nothing left to give. So it's really, really important as women, and how this relates to the bedroom. It's really important that we take time to do the things we enjoy and recharge so that we have plenty to give in our responsibilities and commitments in our life, including sex with our husbands. You won't want to have sex if you're running on empty in your life. So it's really, really, really important that you do things you enjoy, that fill your cup and recharge you, and to have the character and integrity to follow through with having sex in your marriage, knowing it's part of a healthy marriage and part of the vows and commitment that we make, and that you don't have to have sex begrudgingly. If you have sex begrudgingly, you're going to get to a point where you feel you've put in your time and feel that you can just be done and retire, which is a very cruel thing to do to your husband and a cruel thing to do to yourself. Hello again. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch today. For those women listening who know you are the problem and you want a path forward to change your woman ways and truly be happy in yourself, I have a course for women called the Happiness Program. And the Happiness Program teaches you to resolve the unhealthy relationship you have with yourself so that you can be the solution to the issues and challenges in your marriage and your life. You can find the link in the description below to learn more about the course and apply to enroll. For the good men listening who want a way to take back the power you've unknowingly given away to your wives, I also have a course for you called the Marriage Rescue Course for Good Men Only. And the course teaches you how to rebuild your strength and confidence so that you can navigate the relationship with your wife in a healthy, constructive way. Again, you can find the link below in the description to learn more about the course and apply to enroll. Again, thank you so much for watching today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.